So looking at, we've got Darryl Clare coming on today as well, and making something of an impact. Looked a bit sharp at him, didn't he?
He did, didn't he? I remember watching him run down to the corner flag and chase down a lost cause, which he wasn't perhaps doing before. That's something Holdsworth will no doubt be looking at. I wouldn't start with him, though, to be honest, on Tuesday, and it's very hard to change.
Would you bring Perry straight back in?
That's a really difficult question, isn't it? Duffy, we keep being told, isn't 100% fit, but he has just scored a hat-trick, so can you drop him after scoring a hat-trick, albeit with 2 penalties? If he isn't fit, then I would say, yeah, Perry is itching to go. We spoke to him before the game. He really, really is itching to play. I would be tempted to start with Kyle Perry. He's fit. He says he's fitter now than he was at the start of the season because he's had the 2 or 3 weeks to get fit. I would start with Jake Spade. This combination of a quicker player alongside a bigger striker is clearly working, whereas the 2 bigger strikers together weren't. So,
the other option today, Briscoe was taken off. Perhaps not his best performance. Put Spatey on the right, put Pezzo back up alongside Duffy. Yes or no?
Well,
no, not for me, no.
Tim says no, I probably wouldn't either. But of course it depends on how fit the players are. We don't know how they're going to shape up on Tuesday night, and there's a few knocks going around quite clearly amongst the players. I think David will see, who's the fittest maybe on Tuesday night. I think what we have seen is that all the strikers are in decent form at the moment. Perry, of course, scored twice in the game that he was sent off. Duffy scored a hat-trick today. Spate was superb on Tuesday night. I think he was superb again today. And it's just great to have players in such good form up front.
Just going back to a few days ago, a lot's been made about the Oxford game. How important a victory was it to Mansfield Town, and how important a message does it send out to the rest of this conference division that Mansfield are serious contenders, Tim?
It was a vital victory on 2 fronts for me. One, from the terms of the owners, if you like, and getting the crowds into Field Mill, the floating voters each week. Had we not won that game, what sort of message would it have sent to those fans who are already starting to drift away? Now they can see we're capable at last of beating the top teams in this division. And because secondly, of course, it shows to the other clubs that we are serious about going up. We are capable of beating the better clubs. Everybody knows that in this division, the bottom half perhaps is a mini league in its own. Then you've got the top half as well. You're always going to beat the likes of Hayes and Yeading 99 times out of 100. Stokes weren't in the past going to beat Oxford 99 times out of 100, but now we've shown that we can beat the likes of Oxford, Luton, whoever at Field Mill at least. Be nice to see us win a game like that away from home this season.
Martin, do you agree with that? Important message for the rest of this division, or particularly the likes of Luton, Oxford, Stevenage, and ourselves?
Definitely, we haven't had the best of records this season at beating the teams near the top of the table. I think it was an absolutely vital win over Oxford. I think we talked on the night that potentially it could set us up with a decent run of form, because we have winnable games coming up, the first of which was today. You've still got to win those games, but it was a very, very tough game, and it was crucial to win that game because we've lost to some of the other teams at the top, or drawn with them, like Kettering at home. Losing to Stevenage at home was a real body blow after going 2 up, and it was vital to show that we can beat the teams at the top.
Just another point on Tuesday night's game. Did it surprise you, Tim, how gracious Chris Wilder was about Mansfield's performance, and also the Oxford media, and perhaps more importantly the Oxford fans as well? I mean, they all left Field Mill actually talking a lot about Mansfield's performance.
I suppose from the fans' point of view, you have to say they knew they were going to lose sooner or later, and they could see they'd lost to a good team who played well on the night, so perhaps that's what the attitude they took. I was slightly surprised by Chris Wilder because, to be fair, Oxford towards the end probably deserved an equaliser, if we're honest. But for him to come out straight away and say they were beaten by the better team over the 90 minutes was very, very fair of him, but not what you expect from a manager. But I would say, going back to Tuesday as well, they always say a bit of a cliche in football, you make your own luck. And for me, perhaps that's rubbed off again today, because I didn't think today our 2 penalties were necessarily that clear cut. A couple of weeks ago, we were missing out on referees' decisions. Today they've gone our way a bit, and perhaps that's on the back of the hard work and the good performance against Oxford.
The soundbites coming out of Oxford, Martin, were you surprised then?
Well, we did play very well in the first half, and we did blow them away a little bit, and I suspect nobody else has come close to doing that to Oxford this season. So maybe that's why Wilder says that. Obviously in the second half they put us under a lot of pressure, and the last 15 minutes felt like a few hours, to be honest, but and it was great to end up winning the game. Oxford played very well in the second half. We know they're a good side, and they're a long way clear. I think they've won again today away from home in a tough game at Gateshead. So they are going to be right up there at the end of the season. Whether they win the league, we'll have to wait and see. They certainly look worthy candidates to win the league at the moment. But we did play very well in that first half, and I suspect Chris Wilder hasn't seen a better performance against his team in a half of football this season, which is probably why he was so gracious.
Just a quick word as well about the gaffer. 2 in 12, 6 in 6, no crisis. The guy doesn't seem, his persona, his attitude and the way he presents himself to the media and the fans and to the general public, doesn't seem to have missed a beat, Tim. Have you seen anything there that he appears to have been under a little bit of pressure at all, or is he, as I see him, he's just been so level and so on an even keel through all this?
It's certainly no Captain Mannering, is he? If you think back to Dad's Army, for people of my ilk who watch the TV,
You'll have to explain that later to me.
there's no panic there whatsoever. No, in all his dealings with the press, just no wavering, is there? He said, "Calm down, everybody. We'll get on with the job. We'll roll our sleeves up." Another one of his phrases. We'll work hard. We'll sort it out. Just stick with us. And I think the fans should at the moment. There's no reason to panic. We've had one, for me, bad performance all season. That was at Kidderminster. Everybody held their hands up and said it wasn't good enough. One bad performance so far in the season is not bad, is it?
He just seems to be, a steadying influence. We talked about the chairman and his positivity, and then you've got the manager there who, despite all the attempts of everybody to unsettle him perhaps a little bit, no movement whatsoever, no waver, Martin Shaw.
Very calm, and that's what you need. Doesn't get too excited when you win, unlike us on Stags World, and doesn't get too down when you lose. And I think that's a sign of a good, steady manager. And hopefully there's a lot more wins to come. And it's been an enjoyable game today. Not the best of the season by any means, but solid, professional. And we've dealt with the opposition that was put in front of us, and in the end it was a pretty comfortable win, and I'm sure he'll be delighted about it.
Taking off your fan hats just for one moment, Tuesday night finally, very difficult place to go. A win, a loss or a draw?
If I had my fan hat on, I would say a win, of course. I'm still tempted to say a win because we are the luck seems to have changed slightly, as we've just said over the last week. We're now on the up. Let's keep that going as long as we can. We need an away win. We need an away win at a difficult place, and there's no more difficult place to go than Barrow. So yeah, I'm going for a win.
Martin Shaw?
Well, it'll need to be a good performance, but I'm confident the lads can put it in, so I'm going for a win. Stags win.
Absolutely, that's 3 yeses. You're through to boot camp. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to my guests this evening here on the Stags Player Sunday Supplement now. Don't forget we'll have full match commentary of Mansfield Town against Barrow on Tuesday night with the more than amiable David Jackson. Unfortunately, Martin Shaw, it's a bridge too far for him, but never mind, he's got legendary status anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Martin Shaw, Tim Morris, Steve Hartshaw, and from me, Nigel Pinnock, have a great rest of your weekend. There is no panic here at Field Mill. Don't panic. We'll be back again with you on Tuesday night. Thank you very much.